You are listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, some crazy things happening with my volume here, so I'm trying to get it right. Who knows what it is? Living in the twilight zone. So there were some things I wanted to bring up, and I'm going to bring them up now. So we have this impeachment mania going on. A bunch of criminal paranoids trying to protect their criminal enterprise by projecting their crimes on their victims. Psychological warfare at its very worst. Psychological torture. Psychological manipulation. It's known as Psywar and PSYOP. They're using trillion-dollar combat technology against their own nation. How disgusting. How twisted. How evil. So, here we are in impeachment mania. So, what does Pelosi do? She picks something out of the air. Oh, I was waiting for this evidence to arise and arrive. That's why this happened. This is why we're waiting. We have evidence now that Giuliani said that the president was behind him or said it was okay or whatever it was. That's pretty stupid to think that that's any type of evidence. Although in psychological warfare, you could make walking to the store to buy bubble gum evidence in a criminal enterprise court. Similar to what they did in Nazi Germany, similar to what they do in China, similar to what they do in other nations, and what they did do in communist Russia. The Soviet Union is alive and well in Nadler, Pelosi, Schiff, and the rest of them. So what are we actually looking at in that statement that Pelosi made? A scam, a con trick. Giuliani is the president's attorney, and the president said, yes, go ahead and do what you do as my attorney, Rudy Giuliani, and get this thing over with because it's interfering with the nation. Investigate things as you need to find out what we need to do to represent myself and my people appropriately. Nothing wrong with that. You're the ones that are making the need for it. What you don't like, Pelosi, Schiff, Nadler, and the rest of you pieces of defecation, is that the president isn't bowing down to the satanic thing that runs your minds into the ground and the dirt that you are. Disgusting, filthy, putrid, horrible people, horrible. So again, worse than a nothing burger, because a nothing burger means that somebody just says something. We have another con trick, another criminal operation of psychological warfare, anti-power being moved within the United States to make it okay that Pelosi was a nutbag and is a nutbag. I keep moving my hands and I've got a lot of stuff around me. I'm going to have to clear out the room and make it work later. Now, I did change the sensitivity of the noise gate. So hopefully I don't ruin this. I'm listening to it in headphones, and I don't know if it's the way you're hearing it. However, it's all spycraft theater. It is all spycraft theater. They have taken over the free enterprise system at a certain level. The president keeps making it bigger than they are. But that's why they want to restrict free enterprise and move people towards socialism, because then they own everything that could possibly be owned. Because they don't want people that they don't want to have anything. That's who Pelosi is. And that's why we're trying to help all the poor people. Well, you made the people poor by destroying their lives, by destroying the lives of their parents. My kids don't have the life that they could have had because of what you and those pieces of garbage that you sent after me for over 20 years, going on 25 for sure, if not longer. That's why my children don't have the lives they could have had. And there's plenty of others out there, because do you know how many pieces of garbage exist like Pelosi, Schumer, Nadler, and all the government agents that murder for them? They've got an army of hundreds of thousands of people that would murder for them. That's the world we live in. Bernie's little aide is the only one that had the huevos to speak out. That's who they are in their minds. That's what they run around these communities doing. But they tell themselves, we're angels of light and we're protecting people from that evil president that's saving the nation from all the evil people. Well, is the president good? Well, I just hit something again. This is like weird. I know what it is. I moved my microphone stand in so I could vacuum the floor. So I drank some water earlier, and that's what I was supposed to have. I used to drink my teas. I'm not drinking my teas. I'm taking it real light. I'm just kind of eating soups and stuff. I don't think it's acid. They kept saying there was, you might have an ulcer, it might be acid. And I'm thinking, I haven't had acid indigestion in a long time. I used to have acid indigestion, but it's been kind of a lot less in recent days. And I was eating a lot of bran and a lot of potatoes with potato skins, including sweet potatoes. So I was eating a lot of roughage. And I think it may have included the bacteria and the bacterial infection, but that may have actually rubbed my stomach raw, which was kind of an early warning system, I think, for this thing. Even though I've had it on and off for so long, I think my body fights it. They found the antibodies. That's what they found. So my body fights the thing. And what I'm noticing is it's not really, like, is this acid? Is this an ulcer? And then it's like, oh no, it's gas. So I just think I've like run amok gas or something from something, but it could be from that, and it could be that it was starting to ulcer. I don't know. I don't have any blood in any of my things that would say that it was a bad thing, but it could have been starting. Who knows? But it feels like it's just some sort of weird thing that's going to go away. And it did include that bacteria, but I think we caught it in the nick of time. But we'll see. So back to where I was. So we have these evil, evil, evil criminals that walk around saying that they're angels of light. And they invade churches when they need to. They invade other spiritual places when they need to. They invade your house and your family. And right now, they're listening to the stream without anybody seeing them. And they can do it multiple ways. They can listen to my phone that's sitting here right next to me. And they'll tell you, oh, you're crazy. Nothing's happening like that. Director Comey says that's not happening. Director, what's the new Comey? What's his name there? Ray. Director Ray says that's not happening. That's who they are. They're absolute nutbags. They're absolute psychopaths that spend their time trying to create psychopaths out of normal people, trying to create criminals out of normal people. That's who they are. And they'll go to hell for it. Don't you dare even think you can make an excuse to God for what they're doing and then do it with them. Even not saying anything could cause you to be sent to hell. I mean, Jesus said everything I'm saying, but you all just don't want to accept it because your church teaches everything differently or not at all in some cases. Remember, the publicans and the harlots, they go to heaven before you do. But what is it with the publicans and the harlots? Well, it's not necessarily the publicans today. That was the group back then. I've taught you that with Sodom and Gomorrah and everything, that this thing moves around. Satan moves around and different things pick up the evil power of anti-power and begin causing people to fall, begin possessing people to the crime and the sin and the nescience, blinding the mind, lest they see the glorious gospel of Jesus Christ. So we have people in churches, we have people in government that are condemning people that are criminals, condemning people that are having a certain lifestyle or whatever it is, and I'm not going to get into the argument with it. However, these people in government are blinding the minds of the people lest they see the glorious gospel of Jesus Christ, and that includes people in churches, that includes people in government agencies, that includes people in the private sector. So again, they are that thing that we're wrestling against that is not flesh and blood, but is that principalities and powers and evil in high places. So what they're saying is that it's emanating from these positions of power, of really powerlessness and anti-power, but yet we call it positions of power. Satan has taken these positions of power using the deep state. And it's emanating from those places out, possessing people to grab a gun and go into a church and do the wrong thing. Now, again, Jack. His name's Jack. Jack's a hero. But we're going to use Jack as an example. And if you've ever been to a law enforcement academy, they do this all the time. And they'll say, well, we're going to use you as an example. So-and-so here is this, that, and the other things. They start defaming you. If you ever went to a law enforcement academy, they'll defame you every so often by making you the bad person. Oh, well. So here we go. So Jack could will that guy. If he was evil, if Jack was evil, he doesn't seem to be evil, he just maybe didn't study the Bible as well as he should have. But Jack could possess that person to come in, or be with a group of people to possess that person to come into their church so they can be heroes. I've always told you it's better to want to be the Barney Fife. If you always want to be the hero and you move your will, you're going to cause a war. You're going to cause people to be harmed. And see, that's what President Trump is undoing, the ability to do that. He doesn't want that to happen. He doesn't want us stuck in these endless wars. And that's where his heart is. So even though he acts out in a military manner to secure Iraq and other places, it's to bring about that end, that good end, where when evil people move in war, we get stuck in endless wars and there's no way out. And we just keep paying them and they become more anti-powerful and increase the size of the deep state. So again, I'm not worshiping President Trump. I don't worship President Trump. I don't worship people. I've never worshiped people my whole life. I thought some people were cool and some people were jerks. But I never worshiped people. People are nobody. They're not even their original form of creation. They're not the soul form. So I don't worship this planet. I don't worship people. And I tell you, I've been telling you for years that something's going to go wrong on this planet if you don't stop what you're doing. And then you all panic and go, we got to save the planet. You can't save the planet. The only way you can save the planet is by stop being evil. Stop possessing your neighbor. Stop using that psychological warfare that was put into your community by deep state, shadow government, criminal enterprise nutbags so that they could get you to kill whoever it is they wanted you to kill in your community, either to get them to commit suicide or to get another person to harm that person. When I was younger, I didn't know any of this. When I was really young, we used to watch wrestling. Everybody watched wrestling in Northeast Philadelphia. And hockey and wrestling. So we used to watch wrestling, and it's all these famous people, and we used to have to wrestle. There's actually a Star Trek episode like this, where they have power to will people. So actually, the original Star Trek will show you some of what I'm speaking about. Somebody was a seer, most likely that guy, what's his name, Roddenberry, whatever his name was. But they were willing Spock and willing Kirk and willing Uhura to have certain types of relationships. And then they willed the short guy, I guess I can call him a dwarf, with the knife to go after Kirk or something like that. That's really happening. That's possession. That's possession, biblical possession, I guess personified or at least acted out in a Star Trek episode. The aliens were like in a Roman Colosseum type of thing there. So they're willing people to engage in that activity. But when I was younger, my brother I never knew this was happening. My brother and the other guys were willing me and my little brother to fight. We never fought. We just, we were just happy kids. And they used to will us to wrestle each other. And they would always sit around and doing this, like cheering us on. But I'm thinking, now that I know everything, they willed us to fight. So again, that happens also. But now we know that it's psychological warfare. It's spycraft being used in every community in the United States to commit murder and treason. They're attempting to take over everything in this country for their own evil purposes. Now, there's a difference between people coming to this country for what this nation stands for, and then people coming here to rip their neighbor off. So I'll tell you, Ilhan is here to rip her neighbor off and enslave her neighbor if she could, all the way to the nines, I guess they call, to the top of it. She wants to recreate what she fled here with her in power and her cronies in power. So I wanted to get that straight, just so you know that I am about legal immigration at a certain level. And the reason you have to immigrate so many people to work is because they keep addicting our people to drugs, but they're here empowered by a large number of psychopaths and their cronies willing our people to fail. Hispanic people from Central America do not like white people. So why do you see white people acting out and you don't see them acting out? Number one, people don't speak Spanish. They don't know what they're saying. Every once in a while, if you listen, you'll hear certain words that you know what it means. Number two, it's a will. It's a will for people in the United States to act out while they're being oppressed psychologically, spiritually, and physically, quite honestly, because they're not living the life they were meant to live. Remember, when good people get up, then everybody gets up. When bad people get up, then the rest are oppressed. And that's still going on. It's still going on. I'm still a dissident here in, where am I again? Tyler, Texas. It's still happening. I'm a dissident. I don't care what you all call it. I'm a dissident. And I'm owed millions and millions and millions of dollars. And God will take it out of your hides in hell. God will take it out of your hides in hell. There ain't no Jesus coming for any of you. The Bible's clear on what Jesus feels about all of you, causing everybody to fall. You are that thing that causes the stumbling. You can watch them. Every time I start getting up in life, they come along and try to cause me to stumble. They're sick. They're perverted. They're psychotic. They're what the Nazi Party would have progressed to one day, a psychological warfare entity that could murder without moving any type of munition. Although they've done it that way also. Well, again, don't be violent. Stay peaceful. back your president because he's the only person that's actually going to say no. And it's actually great they're impeaching him. God's doing this. It's actually great that Ray's acting the way he's acting. It's actually great that FISA's acting the way they're acting because now he gets to see it for real because he wasn't sure. He's like, okay, Moore's telling me this, but, it's not too bad up here in government. Everything seems to be going okay. I mean, we've got some stuff over there. And then I say, well, Pelosi's lying. She's going to impeach you. She's planned this from the beginning. She's just trying to lull you into a false sense of security. Whoop, there it is. She did it. So I've been right because I listen to God. I've got no ability within myself to see anything without God. And the God of this world does blind my mind to many things. And he blinds your mind also. But remember to stay peaceful and always praise God in all that you do. Praise God.
You are listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.